Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Lawless podcast. And today I'm joined by Cal and Lauren.
Hello, my name is Cal.
Hello, my name.
Good speaking, good start.
Let's get a translation of that last phrase.
Well, you already introduced us.
Well,
Like, hi, my name's
I
Cal.
thought I'd introduce the voice to the name.
Well,
So, yeah.
I'm Lauren. That's what that translation is.
So Cal, what are we here to do today?
Well, we are here to give advice and confessions. We're going to discuss a few confessions as well, submitted by lots of people from Durham University. So that's what we're going to be doing.
Nice one. So yeah, throughout the week we've been just asking different people to just submit these things, and yeah, let's get you guys some answers, maybe a bit of advice to help you out, and let's see where this goes. So Cal, if you'd like to kick us off with the first one, please.
Okay. Well, we're starting with a pragmatic one because I feel like a lot of people are going to be feeling this over Christmas. The first one is, I live with anti-vaxxers and don't want to go home at Christmas. Do we have any advice for this individual?
Well, that's a bit of a difficult one, I would have to say.
It is. I'm going to say the best thing to do is to avoid these kind of conversations.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, especially at Christmas.
let's not
Yeah.
talk about politics. Let's not talk about current affairs. You know what I mean? We're here for good vibes. We're here for good food. We're not here for talking about coronavirus.
Let's talk about the turkey, not the sort of who's got double jabbed, who hasn't. You know,
Right.
like-
Yeah.
Right. But I do think if we're going to have a conversation about that, then let's keep it respectful and let's listen to other people. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but I also hope you have other things to talk about other than COVID.
Yeah, that shouldn't
when
be
you're
the only
going home.
talking point. should it?
Exactly.
You know?
You're at uni. You've been here for 10 weeks. Go home and talk to your parents about how much fun you've had.
Is that all the new experiences you've had as well?
Exactly.
You
I
probably would
agree.
have grown as a person a lot in these 10 weeks, so
Exactly.
you've got a lot to say and to
You
tell.
might even have a new outlook on anti-vaxxers.
maybe you do.
Change
Maybe you
perspective.
do.
Exactly.
Okay, well, that's wonderful. But I think the best thing to do is to avoid this conversation. And if we're going to approach the conversation, we're going to do it respectfly.
Indeed.
Definitely.
That's going to be my advice on that. If
I
anyone
agree.
else got anything else to add,
No, that's good.
you're good.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I think we've got a couple more. So
Okay, so the next one is I ate fish food, like the flakes, as a snack for years when I was younger because the colour and tub made me think they were fishy crisps.
this is my favorite confession
Wow.
of all of them. I think did anyone eat weird stuff when they were younger, or is that just
Bit of Lego, mate.
What?
No, I'm joking. Like, you know, when you just put stuff off your nose as a kid, like.
No.
Have you guys not done that?
that was
No,
the feature?
No.
Basically, when you was really, really young, just like literally just putting Lego up my nose, sort of thing. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
that is intense.
that is
Wow.
very intense.
I can confess that is not something I did.
I've eaten dog treats before.
What,
the chocolate ones.
Sort of like biscuit ones.
Yeah, I've eaten the
Okay.
biscuit ones, and then they have these little chocolate circle ones, and I was like, well, and they're actually really nice.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh yeah, obviously.
Would you go again?
Yeah, of course. They were like chocolate, but it had like oats in it, so it felt a bit healthier than natural chocolate.
It's probably better than Trev's food.
Oh,
That's it.
110%.
Sorry, Linda. Sorry to out you here.
Like,
Sorry,
give
all
me
love
a
to Linda,
bowl
but-
of dog treats and I'll eat that over the Trev's curries any day of the week.
That should be an option, a third option.
I wish it
It
was.
should be dog treats or curry.
Anyway, back to the actual confession. I feel bad for your parents. I'm so sorry.
And also, like, is that going to have a big effect on, like, your...
Would that
Maybe
like
it's
fuck you
honestly-
up to like do that?
Yeah.
Right, maybe it's, like, built their immune system, though.
Like, please tell me. I want to meet you. Just see what you're like.
Maybe that's a cure to COVID. You know...
Dog treats. That's it. You've defeated COVID.
Dog
Well-
treats and fish food.
And fish food.
Yeah.
Get 'em in.
Yeah.
They were like, the fact that it just wasn't once, and it kept this person thought it was okay.
For
Yeah.
a number of years.
Yeah. Even though it said the word fish on it, they probably just thought like, it's like
But
cold
like,
chips.
what?
they have pictures of like fish on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they
It's
do
like
look like,
swimming in
you
the
know, these
sea.
little crispy onion bits. Don't lie. They look a bit like that. Like, in Subway, is that what they go for me? You know what I mean?
But they're like kind of shiny. Fish
They're
food.
shiny.
Yeah.
Maybe. Do I know what fish food looks like?
Probably not.
No, it comes in them little like tubs,
Yeah.
like a blue tub that has like fish on it.
It's
then-
almost like really
And
thin
little flakes,
seaweedy
yeah,
kind
tiny
of
little
things.
flakes.
Well, like, honestly,
Yeah.
I don't think it's doing that much harm.
But they smell as well.
Oh,
So
Think about the
bad.
breath on them.
That's
Like
what I
they're
was
walking
thinking.
around with that fish breath all day.
Yeah.
Let's
That
do
is
some
not
scrubbing of the
good.
teeth, please.
Like,
Yeah,
Do you have
twice
friends?
a day, maybe 3 times if you're eating that much fish food.
Maybe every time you eat.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Oh goodness.
Well, I can't think of anything weird I ate when I was younger.
No, just the dog treats for me.
Maybe a bit of Play-Doh. I like the
Yes.
salty,
Oh yeah.
salty
Yes, the
taste.
Play-Doh.
But that
It
was
was like-
quite good though.
The
Yeah.
forbidden fruit.
Forbidden fruit of Play-Doh. Okay, well I think we can probably move on to the next one.
Wait.
This one's a little bit more explicit, so
Paula,
your
turn your ears off.
discretion, please.
Bits of discretion.
A little bit of discretion. So during sex, my boyfriend over summer, the dog came onto the bed and started pissing, in brackets, not on us.
Oh, that's
We
good. They
didn't-
clarified that as well.
Yeah. We didn't know what to do, so we just carried on. The worst part was that the morning after, he still hadn't cleaned any of the sheets. Kind of enjoyed it.
Kind of
Enjoyed
enjoyed
it.
it. Oh my god.
I think it's adding flavour to the moment.
Yeah.
Not literal flavour, like if you're licking the sheets, that's, you know.
Yeah, like that's a bit. Yeah. come on.
Spillage is lickage.
It's got to go. It has to go.
Spillage and lickage.
That is vile.
That's not on. I'm
You
sorry.
need to have a look at yourself at that point.
But like,
Just
why is
sit
in the
down and
dog?
look.
Why is the dog in the room while you're having sex? That's a bit.
Just close the door. Like, lock the door.
Yeah, like
What
how
are
do you
doing?
feel about like dogs being
That
present?
is
No,
no.
they should not be present.
They should.
Means
No
that's
one
weird.
else should be present. No animals. Nothing
no
alive.
animals? Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that
no,
adds
that's
a
just
weird-
a hard and fast rule. No animals. you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
in
it's just not
any
doing-
context.
No,
It's
no.
giving furry.
Yeah. A little bit of furry. Yeah.
Not the furries. Well, honestly, I'm saying to this person, get
Sort
a
your
grip.
life out. Yeah.
It's not
Have a
on.
look at yourself. Do you know what I
Have
mean?
a look at yourself. Like, what are you doing? And maybe just get that head examined.
Just
Yeah.
seek help. Right?
Seek help.
We
It's
can give you a
okay.
number.
Yeah,
Some
we'll leave. We'll be
hotlines.
there.
Have you had this problem before, Lauren?
No, don't
It's a
worry.
common problem.
I let my dog piss in my bed.
Mm.
Hotline.
Oh
Yummy.
goodness.
Where
Well-
to help.
Well, this is one of my favourite ones, personally. I quite like... Well, I don't like...
It's very
Yeah.
nuanced. It's a nuanced point.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that they've... I like the honesty. You know what I
Because
mean?
they could have just said like, you know, if it just was them, they let the dog do it. That's still weird because it would have taken like a second to okay, fuck off, just hit the dog. You know, like,
Yeah.
give it a little like tap or something, and it would be on its way.
A little tap tap. Like
But
when
like-
it was weeing, what was going
But
on?
it's just upsetting me that the fact that the dog was on the bed and then probably did a few circles and then was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna piss here.
This is my spot.
And they were still just shagging.
Mm.
Yeah, so the dog has like made its presence known. It hasn't
Yeah.
been stopped.
Exactly.
So it obviously has progressed for like a good amount of time.
Yeah, I'm worried for this person, to be quite frank.
Yeah, I agree. I
Very
agree.
worried.
And the fact that they just stayed in the beds, even though it was just like filled with like dog piss.
And the smell?
And yeah, and the
Can we
smell.
address the smell?
Kind
Well,
of liked that as well.
I enjoyed it.
I know people who literally still have not washed their bed sheets since they came to Trev's.
Stop.
Yeah.
Well, not even like once.
Stop.
I'm not gonna name names.
We can probably put that on the microphone.
I don't know if you had that.
Okay.
But yeah. Well, let's just say the stench.
The
It's probably
stench.
similar to the dog piss.
I don't think we can give people's musk the same scent.
Oh, I
as
think
dog
we
piss.
can.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, on that note, we'll maybe move on to our next one. Pass it over
Okie
to Ryan.
dokie. The next one. Oh no. I had a situationship with a guy and it fell through. I'm living with him next year. Please pray for me. It's sending you many, many prayers.
That's rough.
Many
That's
prayers.
rough.
That is
Many
rough.
prayers. You know, I feel like a lot of people will be in this situation where they've signed. If you sign a house prematurely, that is just it's a disaster waiting to happen.
Like you've jumped into it.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're all mates here.
Yeah,
And then each other for like 2 weeks.
yeah,
And then you're in a situation now where you're like, oh, the paperwork's signed.
I know.
Do you know what though? I do think that a house can just be a roof over your head, where some place you sleep. You don't have to be there. You can literally eat at your friend's house. You can pretty much sleep at other people's houses as well. It's kind of just a place where you keep
Depends
your
how active you are,
things.
innit? But yeah,
You don't have to be there that much, you know. If you don't want to be,
Well,
you
like
can
put it
study in the
this way,
library.
like when you're at college or like if you're at uni accommodation, etc., then you had no choice about who you lived with.
Exactly.
And I don't know anyone really whose like experience at university has been that adversely affected by the person they were put with over the first year. Like it's just like whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you live, you tolerate. And like part of being an adult is just being able to like be mature enough to tolerate each other.
Exactly. Like I'm living with Cal next year. Please pray for me.
Press I need to follow on. It's gonna be a rough year.
ride.
It's not going to be that. Let's not put that out there as well. Well, you know what? I also feel like this is a good advice point, though. For people at university. Let's just if we all mutually agree to stop getting houses so early in the year.
Yeah.
Like, why are we all doing that?
I know.
Because the problem is, like, people like, you've got to rush into it. We wouldn't need to rush into it if no one rushed into it.
If it was the social norm that everyone just got houses in, like, how did
End
the
of
months
second
go?
term.
Like March.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Life would be so much sweeter.
Mm-hmm.
And things like this wouldn't happen.
It wouldn't happen.
And you'd really know the people you want to live with.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you've been here for 2 terms, you're going to know by then who you want to be with.
You are going to know.
Right. And also, I would just say, if you are going to get into a situationship, a relationship, or even just a, casual thing, maybe don't live with them. Just for the sake of just not.
But also for the sake of the other people in the house, it might be a bit awkward. But I feel like you can also make it not awkward, and that is something you're going to have to do. You know?
Exactly. Just like when you see them, just it can be as awkward as you make it. So just literally just be civil with them. Just like be fine with it. Don't make it a thing, because it's only a thing if you want it to be a thing. You know.
Completely agree.
So just have that mutual respect. You know, just be civil, and it'll be all right. To be fair.
Yeah. Yep. Be nice. Be adult.
That's it. Be an adult.
Part of being at university is growing up.
Oui.
So let's grow up.
Oui.
Right.
Oui.
Well, that is just one. Lovely piece of advice there.
Oh, we're going again. What to do if no one is interested in you at uni and everyone is your college at clapped? Well, I hope no one from Travis has written this, because
I hope this is not a Trevelyan College comment.
Wow, that would be a bit rude.
Disagree.
I would have to disagree as well.
Awfully rude.
Very awfully rude, considering we're all in Travs.
But what to do if no one's interested in you at university? What are we saying?
I think, honestly, so what? I know that's really harsh, but at the end of the day, you are going to find the right person eventually. It will probably come when you're not looking, when you're not, when you've given up all hope. It's always when you're not looking that something finds you. And yeah, I honestly don't think that's that big of an issue.
I agree.
As long as you love yourself, that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's so important, because like, you may not be ready for a relationship yet. You may have to sort of do that inner discovery to love yourself to a level where you're ready to love others.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah,
exactly. And everything happens for a reason at the end of the day. So you'll find your person at some point, and it'll be great.
And RuPaul said, if you can't love yourself, then how the hell are you going to love anyone else? Am I right?
Thank you, Callum. Yeah. And about everyone at your college being clapped, I'm so sorry. That must be really hard for you.
Transfer to Trevs, we're all fit here.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
not all of us, but
some.
I think there's a few diamonds in the rough, but I think that's the same at every university. And you know what as well? I will also add here, I don't think hookup culture is as big as everyone makes it out to be at university.
Oh.
Because like I feel like we get these ideas at university from like US frat,
sort of like the movies and stuff.
Yeah, like everyone's like, having like a wild time, and like there's definitely a bit of that, but like it's really not.
Most nights I'm in my room watching Grey's Anatomy and knitting.
Right.
So
you're really selling yourself.
Experience. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really selling Durham University.
Right, like I love a cup of tea. You know what I mean?
Love it.
Like I'm ready for a cup of tea, and then maybe a little bit of bedtime.
Exactly. I'll get a toasty from the buttery and we'll call it a night.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we can probably move on to the next one.
Yeah.
What do you do if you accidentally go to the same uni as your ex?
Accidentally. So how does that happen then?
We have no more detail, unfortunately.
Okay.
Do you reckon like they went to the same uni together and then broke up before they arrived?
This is potentially
we could go down that route.
Yeah. This is potentially what's happened.
Uni's a big place.
It's not that deep, really.
No.
You don't have to see them. You don't have to see them.
Exactly.
I would say though, I think it's quite hard to avoid someone at Durham. I mean, I don't know what this person is likely at Durham.
It depends, like, if you're in the same college. I feel like if you're different colleges, especially one on the Hill, one on the Bailey, like, you'll be fine,
No.
Unless you have sort of, like, seminars together, you're not.
Yeah.
And the chances of that are very slim.
Very slim.
And even if you're in the same lectures, it's a big lecture theatre.
You can sit on opposite ends, love, if you'd like,
Yeah. It's the TLC lecture theatre is a big lecture theatre.
Big place.
It's a big mama. It's got some space in it there.
It's got some space. You can avoid.
You can very much avoid. But yeah, I think it's relatively easy to avoid people. And even if you see them, you don't have to say anything to them.
Exactly. And
if you don't want to.
It goes back to that point of just that mutual respect.
Yeah.
Because you clearly had something at some point. So just
Exactly.
remember how you actually did feel for that person at some point, and take that into the way you're interacting now, and just have that respect, and it'll be fine.
Exactly. And like, it might be hard, you know, if you're in a club and you see them getting with other people, but, you know, you have to move on. It didn't work out for a reason, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I just
gotta
feel
be
like
happy.
let's mature, let's avoid, ignore, move on.
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Reduce, reuse, recycle. Live, love.
Yeah.
I just think, you know what, we haven't got time for pettiness.
No,
We
exactly.
don't. Life's
We
too
are
short.
free seekers. Let's just get ourselves together.
You never know
remember
what
who
the
you
day's
are.
gonna bring.
And
Treat
like,
every day like your last.
you know what? Let's not treat it like it's at the end of the world. There is very much opportunity to meet new people.
Yeah.
And so,
You're not the only person.
right, if
here.
you're accidentally the same uni as your ex, okay, well, like, wish them the best, but you were the best, so that's not great, and move on. Go meet someone new.
Exactly. Sound advice.
There
Sound
are
advice.
a wealth of people here.
That was lovely, Callum. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Beautiful.
we have another one.
Another one.
Another one.
Goodness. What to do if no ciggy ring? Well, it's an instant red flag, so run away. Run for the hills.
You have to go. Just run.
You've got to go.
Well, I think I'm going to add a little bit of
Go on.
pragmatism here.
A little bit of spice.
I, in my experience, would say those with a signet ring sometimes a little bit toxic. A little bit.
Sometimes, keyword here.
Keyword would be, there's an asterisk and it says sometimes in the footnotes. I am just going to say, I just think sometimes they bring an air of toxicity. And you know what? A signet ring is not indicative of the love that they will bring to you.
Okay.
Bang. There we are. So how would you describe sort of like your stereotypical signet ring wearer?
Firstly, they're in
Hatfield.
I'm going to have to cough. We're going to have to edit that one out. Thanks so much. I'm going to say Hatfield. Probably wearing like a vintage shirt.
Yeah, it's goes to that vintage shop in town.
Or just solely Depop?
Depop,
Diva one.
yeah. Sounds kind of like this.
It's like, no way.
Has like a little smoking problem.
And a little mullet.
Yeah.
A long
good
mullet.
mullet, yeah.
A
Not
long,
well matured.
Yeah.
Mullet.
a developed.
I'm giving it's giving curly brown hair, kind of like you're beautiful.
my pragmatic, non-cancelable answer.
Well, my boyfriend doesn't have a signet ring, and I still love him.
Bloody hell. We can love people without signet rings.
We can.
I know it's hard, but you've got to do it sometimes.
No, honestly though, it's just a piece of metal on your finger.
Also, I'm going to also add that I think sometimes people act up to the stereotype. So, like, you know,
They
a signet ring
purposely
is
do it,
actually not indicative of
Yeah.
anything, because unless you've had that for like many years and like handed down.
Exactly. If it's
then
a
it's like,
family heirloom.
did you buy that the summer before you turned up to Durham?
Exactly. It's
It's
kind
another
of like the
person.
whole shuffle thing as well. I feel like you kind of it's an item of clothing.
Shuffle's a red flag.
Yes.
I'm just going to throw it out there. Yeah, we're going to do a bit of ASMR. No, we're not. I'm saying a shuffle is a little bit of a red flag.
But like it's a farming gilet.
I understand.
kind of thing.
Merely just because, like, you're 18, why have you got a shuffle on?
Like you're not farming right now, mate. You're in a lecture theatre.
You're in a lecture theatre.
Well, I quite like them.
Well, I think that's
You
a
seem
good
to get to
idea.
say your type in a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
Does your boyfriend have a shuffle? Really?
You're right.
Well, he's gone down in my estimation.
That's him down.
Callum, that is so rude.
I'm really kidding. Love to Lauren's boyfriend.
Much love.
Okay, we have another one.
Oh.
Another one. It says, maybe me and you aren't going to be able to help on this one, but maybe
No,
Alex will be able to
yeah.
help on this one.
I think I like.
How to move mad to gyals is what it says.
Yeah.
How to? Are they the exact words?
That
we
is
have?
the actual.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said it
Okay.
if it
He
wasn't.
definitely
You wouldn't have
wouldn't
phrased it like that if you
I
didn't
would
have
not
to.
have.
No
I would
way.
not have.
Okay. How to move mad. So if by this I'm interpreting they mean get with a lot of women.
Mm-hmm.
Well, mate, lesson for you. You gotta go to the club.
Maybe not to me,
Not
but
to
to
you
this person,
personally.
this individual.
The individual who we're discussing.
Or Lauren, yeah.
Or
Neither
Lauren.
of us.
Excuse me.
Neither of us are. No.
Yeah. It's not the target market here, is it?
No.
No.
So basically, all I'd say really is just be your genuinely authentic self and just have authentic conversations with people. Because, again, as we've talked about earlier, people try and live up to different things, different expectations of them. But if you're genuinely your authentic self and you just have sheer confidence, which comes from loving and knowing yourself and being authentic, then you'll be calm. Basically, just it's all about your vibes, because I've had nights out when I've just, you know, really not felt it, and then just not been very good. Had quite shit conversations with people because I wasn't feeling it personally. And I've had other nights where I've chatted complete shit, but my vibes have been really, really good, and it's still been calm. So the bottom line is really good eye contact and just having the vibes going, and you can do it's like sort of momentum sort of thing. So when you're walking down to the club, sort of like talk to different people, get the conversation going, and then when you're in there, you can just, you know, just be yourself and have that confidence that you need to sort of move mad to gal.
I think I can kind of offer the alternative viewpoint.
The other side of the coin.
You know, I think, as Alex said, eye contact is very important.
It's the big one.
Obviously, like, I haven't been getting with anyone at uni.
Just a disclaimer there.
Not a cheating girl. But yeah, I think, you know, when I was single, eye contact is very important. Just kind of like having fun as well.
Yeah, exactly. Just be
dancing
fun
together.
with it.
It's fun, and you kind of get the vibes, but at the same time, like, you don't need to get with loads of girls to have fun.
No, of course not. No,
you don't need to move mad, you know, like.
That.
But yeah, just be yourself. Like, eye contact, have fun. Don't like just be looking to get with someone. Just enjoy your night.
No way.
Exactly, because sometimes at the club, I'm seeing these girls and they're having so much fun. I'm like, good for you. And these boys are just like holding onto their waists, like, you're coming home with me, you know. One of them.
Don't be a koala.
And I'm like, just have fun.
Exactly.
Just dance with them.
Like the nights the nights you go out and go intentionally, you want to do it, you probably won't do it. As you said,
Yeah,
when
exactly.
you don't look, you find.
Exactly.
It's kind of weird, but that's the way it is.
I don't chase. I
also going to add,
attract.
as an objective, I feel like I'm on a very objective standpoint,
Of course,
so
Cal.
both of you can probably chip in here.
Yeah.
No,
If we're not referring to on a night out, and we're just referring to like trying to get maybe a girl,
So you have like a target in mind.
right? Like if
Okay.
we're referring to like maybe wanting to actually get into a relationship rather
So a
than
more serious thing.
right. Let's just put a few
Cool.
caveats out there. Let's not double red chat on Snapchat. That's our first.
Do not.
Let's not be the person that, like, because I'm just going to let you know, as someone who is present around girls, it's the kind of stuff that they'll just save up until they see all their girlfriends, and then we like click through, and it's
Yeah.
like hi.
Yeah.
Let's not be that person. It's embarrassing and it's not on.
Like what are the connotations of that? If you're the girl, you've got some lad who's just a pick me. Do you know what I mean? And no one likes that really.
Oh goodness, nothing worse.
No, like it's just have the respect in yourself to know that you've sent your one message, call it a day, put your phone down, do something productive.
Right.
Yeah, but
You know?
also don't leave people on delivered for hours on end, because that, like, to be honest, if someone did that to me, I'm not giving you the time of day anymore.
I agree.
Like that's it. It depends. Like some people do really like say I'm pretty bad at responding. Like some people. take
No,
the piss,
completely
you
get
know?
that, but it's like when people are putting stuff on their stories, and it's
like
just a bit like,
you're evidently active on Snapchat.
And don't play that game.
don't play
Like-
games. Games are for children.
Right. Like this is like in my experience, this has happened a lot. Like playing the game of like, well, I didn't open it for 5 hours, then you're
Yeah.
not going to open it for 10, and it just escalates, and it's
just
so
childish,
childish.
isn't it? Yeah.
Let's
Childish.
just cut that shit out. Like, let's just be mature, and I think maturity is the key here in this podcast. Just
Yeah,
let's be a little
you've
bit
really
mature.
mentioned it quite a lot, Callum.
I have.
But
Well,
it's a very
I think it's the
potent,
key.
potent theme.
Potent ingredient in growing up. Am I right?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
lovely.
That is
That's
lovely.
it. I think just like so, going back to the point there. So if we've got someone in mind, boy or girl, who we kind of want to sort of get with, or sort of make into a more serious thing, I think you just have to lay the groundwork as well, because like they have to perceive you in a positive light. So make sure the sort of engagement you have are fun, memorable, and sort of emotional as well. Hopefully positive emotion, but if it's negative, well, it's better to have emotion than no emotion, basically.
Yeah.
And then, because these the sort of people you're going to be after are going to be quite good people, you can imagine, because otherwise you wouldn't sort of be after them.
Exactly.
And therefore they're going to have quite a bit of attention. So how are you going to stand out from the crowd? And that comes from basically just it's marketing, really. It's like you've got the product, but
Yeah.
it's what box you put it in. Everyone's got the same product. It's about what box you put in, how you're marketing yourself, isn't it?
I'm a business gal. I know what you mean.
I will add one final point, maybe just before we
Oi.
move on. Just another note to boys and girls: no is no. In the club, on Snapchat, whatever it is,
Yeah.
if someone is saying no, or their body language is saying no, don't keep grabbing onto them. Don't keep messaging them.
Yeah.
Just leave them alone, because
Just call it a day.
no one likes a non-consensual nagging.
No.
It's just not on.
Yeah.
It's not acceptable.
And you're wasting your own time as well.
You're wasting your time. It's not acceptable. And
You're probably going to ruin that girl's night.
Right.
To be honest.
Durham University consent training really said it's a no. So let's listen to that. Let's listen to the vibes. Let's listen to what people are saying.
Yeah.
And find someone who you mutually make each other happy, not
exactly.
someone that you're going to make uncomfortable.
Exactly. Really sound advice, Callum.
Oh, thank you so much. Right, ready for the next
The
one?
next one. I may have an STI. Well.
Oh.
Maybe get tested.
Oh, is that it? Is there no more?
No more.
That's the confession.
Oh, okay.
I think I know who wrote this.
Okay.
All
I
right.
think this is going to be representative of a lot of people.
Oh, a lot. I think
University students especially.
Well, firstly, please wear protection. If that fails, get a test. There is absolutely no shame whatsoever.
I agree.
You know, just be safe, look after your body.
We've only got one.
You
So
do.
it's just like, if you're not keeping after that, then what do we do? You know what I mean? But I'm saying get tested. In the meantime, maybe just refrain.
Yeah.
Be
until
safe.
You know.
If you think you have an STI, please do not go around sleeping with other people until you know whether it's a yes or a no. Because that's very irresponsible.
Because
I
imagine
agree.
if you were the other person, or the other end of that, you wouldn't want that for yourself. So.
No, exactly. And we had a lady come into our school to talk to us because she got AIDS the first time she had sex. This guy gave her
first time.
She
AIDS.
got AIDS.
Yeah, and he
That
was like,
is-
"Oh, I'm really sorry. I actually forgot to tell you, but I've got AIDS." And
That
she
is
was like,
So this laying there afterwards, and she's like, "Oh yeah, by the way,
"Yeah, pretty much."
you've got AIDS now."
What?
Yeah,
As in, like, the person gave it to her purposely.
yeah.
Well,
not-
they were
not on
conscious of it.
purpose.
They knew.
No, I think he found out like a couple days after, and she was like, "Well, I can't have it. Like, this is just not like this thing. Something like this wouldn't happen to me." But yeah, first
It
time she had
does.
sex.
It can happen to anyone, so you just got to be
It can
vigilant.
happen
be
to
fair.
anyone.
It really can.
Yeah,
Well, that is just awful.
absolutely.
Really
Look after yourself as well. Be around good
Yeah.
people, because if you have, this is going to be a hard time. You know.
Yeah.
It is.
So just take the proper measures. Look after yourself, and refrain until you know.
Refrain until you get that
Wait.
that NHS text.
Could you imagine that just pings off?
And that is
Right.
not speaking from experience. That is just knowing.
Your phone's just
having
blowing
any-
up from the
That's
NHS
enough
right
of that,
now.
Lauren. None of that. Okay. We have another one. How to find a boyfriend. Asking for a friend. This is kind of a similar vibe as we've had before. Like how to move mad to Lawless, as it said.
Well, just be yourself. Don't
But I
go
think this
looking.
is more serious. So, Lauren,
Oh,
maybe
This
you
is like a
could-
boyfriend thing, isn't it? So
This
it's
is
more
boyfriend.
coupley, relationshipy vibes.
Any relationship advice, Lauren?
What, being in a relationship or getting into one?
I think both. This
Yeah.
is going to help
Well,
them progress into.
Getting into a relationship, I would say I know I keep saying it, but like you really do just have to be yourself, like all the time, and it's kind of things we've already said, like be yourself. It happened to me when I wasn't looking for anything. I was kind of like, I'm done looking now, and then he kind of like popped up to me on Snapchat, and I was like, oh, hello.
Wait, so before that you were looking?
Yeah, I was, and I was talking to different people, and I was like, oh my god, like, I just can't be doing this anymore.
Yeah.
And then I was literally like, I hate all men, I'm done.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
then a couple days later,
Boom.
boom, boyfriend in the bag.
Boyfriend in the bag.
Well, I don't know. It's actually almost our 2-year anniversary.
2
Well,
years
that
already?
is
2
Really?
years
Just
on
wonderful.
Wednesday, yeah.
Wow.
That is
Yeah.
wonderful.
So relationship advice, being in a relationship, you have to think about the other person. You can't be selfish anymore. You have to think about yourself as well, but you do have to think about the other person, and compromise as well. Like relationships are hard sometimes, but you have to be mindful of how the other person feels, and
Communicate.
exactly. And arguments aren't bad. Like arguments aren't the sign of a deteriorating relationship. It's a sign of strength. Because it means
Very true.
means that you actually want to work through things, and you love the person.
Because you wouldn't be in an argument if you didn't care.
Exactly.
Because that's all it is. It's just a
Exactly.
manifestation of something that's going on.
Exactly. It is. But yeah, just make sure you're happy.
Yeah. Like if you don't want it, like if you're fully not committed to it, then get out. Because
Exactly.
you're wasting each other's time if not. So
And I
just
think
go.
a lot of people before I came to uni at school were saying to me, like, oh, are you going to stay together at uni, all this stuff. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
obviously, like, get in a relationship why would you be in a relationship if you don't think this person is your end game?
Yeah,
You're
why would
wasting
you be
your
in a
time
relationship?
otherwise.
There's no need.
Exactly, you're wasting your time otherwise. If a problem presents itself along the road to that end game and you're like, I can't do this anymore, fine. But
So be it,
every broken heart is one step closer to finding the one.
That's such a good attitude as well, because you're turning this negative thing into sort of a learning point and a point to go, right.
Exactly, it makes you grow as a person.
Exactly. Like, this relationship didn't go the best, but what have we learned? And then move on.
Exactly.
And then take that into the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
You learn from everything.
You can.
You
So yeah, just speaking as like a lad, because obviously this is probably a girl saying this, or a lad, who knows?
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, someone who's attracted to men is saying this.
Mm-hmm.
And all I'd say really is men are very sort of simple creatures, so just
I would disagree.
Understand that. It depends who you're talking about, but like, just, be nice to them, pay them a compliment, because men get fuck all compliments, and that'll make them go, whoa, what? You said I was good at something, what? Because men don't get that at all. So them saying that would be good.
That's so cute.
So yeah, just something like that. Really, just be kind and just start a conversation and see where it goes. Really, that's all I'd say.
So that is just wonderful.
Lovely.
Oh, that's
Thank
just
you,
lovely.
Callum.
Are we ready to move on to the next one?
Yes.
So
How to get free drinks.
Oh, bloody
Well, Cal, do you want to get the ball rolling with that?
Well, I had a little spree during Freshers Week. We got into clubs for free drinks. We are living our life. Since my technique has maybe faltered, or maybe I just don't have the time and energy. But here's my here's my approach. We're gonna go to the bar. We are gonna go further. I'm gonna get this for free. I'm not paying. We're gonna
have the attitude that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah. We're gonna go to the bar. I think the good thing is if you're already a little bit drunk.
Yeah.
Confidence, but also like the bar people are probably gonna think it's funny. You're gonna find someone, your target audience, and this is more of like a, if you're like a woman looking for a man, you're gonna find like the straight man bartender. We're gonna do a little flirt. We're gonna do a 20-second like, hey. We're gonna just have a little bit of chat. Always think it's good, like a little arm rub, like
a little bit of body.
See, I'm taking notes here because I've not been able to get free drinks.
Right, and I think the arm rub is the key part here, guys.
That's the critical moment, is it? The rub.
It is. It's like the rub is going to be a consensual arm rub. Comforting. Right, it's like a motherly. No, we're not motherly. Like when mums are like, oh, you know what I mean. We're gonna do that, and then we're gonna be like, oh, like how much is it? They're gonna probably say the price, and you're gonna be like, oh, I can't. I just can't.
I just can't.
She's like, I'm really sorry. I just don't have that kind of money. Even if you do, let's lie.
What, like £5?
No, we don't have that. We're students.
We do not have that.
We're students. No one has £5. We're gonna just do like and I think the little chuckles.
Pat the eyelids a bit.
Yep, and it works a dream. There is no such thing as a free drink without a flirt.
Yeah.
There's always a price to pay.
There is a price to pay. There's always going to be some kind of currency exchanged, right?
This is the arm rub currency.
This is the arm rub, currency. And you can't get anything for free. So it's like, we're going to have to do a 1 minute graft. But I think
that's easy, isn't it? You can do that,
But I think even if, okay, so like there's no like person of your type at the bar, I think just go with like confidence to someone and just be really overly nice. Ask them how their night's been. Do the little like, ha. This is probably aiming more towards the gays and the girls. I can't imagine a straight man chuckling
That would
away.
be a bit weird.
Well,
I think they'd probably...
No, to be fair, I was having a chat with Will and he was saying that he got quite a few free drinks from female bartenders.
Right, you're probably flirting in a different way. This is aimed more towards the girls and the gays. Just because I don't know if the flirting technique would be the same for a straight man.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. But we're gonna do the charming, a little bit physical touch, and then we're gonna call it a day. And I think that is.
Or in my case, you just say to your friends, "You owe me drinks," and get it for free from them.
Yeah, do a Lauren and like keep a tally of every payment, and like let's.
Right, I don't do this.
Well, I think Lauren does.
It's just because some people eat all my food, so I'm like, please can I have it back because I paid for it.
Yeah.
So I make them buy me stuff.
Little free drink here and there.
Yeah.
It's a tough
here,
crowd
there, and
here
everywhere.
At University. It's a tough crowd.
No free drinks here.
No such thing.
Money's tight these days, guys. Money is tight.
Money is tight.
Especially at the end of the term now,
Talking about how excited are we for our student loans to come through?
Oh,
Gassed.
Can't wait.
Ready for Student Loan Day?
I
is
can't
that?
wait.
It
I
must be
don't know.
coming soon.
I think surely it's next term.
Some point,
Maybe.
who knows?
Maybe. Well, the other day, I have this little anecdote about student loans, actually. So our payment for our accommodation actually comes out on the 1st of December.
So it's all gone.
It's all gone.
all gone.
And I set my direct debit to go to my main current account. My student loan money goes into a separate account. I didn't transfer it. I forgot the night before. So I get a phone call from my bank saying, you have just tried to do a transaction for a large amount of money, a couple of £1,000s. And I was like, I haven't.
Oh God.
I mean, this was at like 7 o'clock in the morning, so like
So
there was
yeah.
panic. There was panic. I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And they were like, well, anyway, I have to give them like, the security details, blah, 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 blah. And then they were like, oh, okay, the payment has come from like Durham University. And I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Soon dawned on me that that money was actually my accommodation money. There was a solid 2 minutes of thinking that I had been scammed of £2,000. They were like, your overdraft has been like completely like taken up by this. It was quite a panic, but
Yeah.
I think the bank were just trying to have a bit of fun that morning.
Yeah. Goodness me.
Yeah.
They woke up and chose violence.
They really did. They did. So yeah, so that was my fun little anecdote about my student loan.
Lovely,
So
thank
guys, let's make sure we have our money in our accounts on time, ready for the universities to
Steal it all.
Just rob all your money.
gobble it all up.
Yeah.
£2,000.
Guys, I'm really excited for brunch today.
Oh yeah, we've got brunch when we get back. That is exciting.
Like hash browns get in my belly right now.
Oh, I feel like we're going down another path, maybe. But what's the thing we're most looking forward to eat when we go home?
Home, my homemade chicken noodle soup. Can't wait.
That is sounding good.
And sourdough, avocado, and salmon for breakfast.
Oh, that
Just like
sounds
cooking, I
great.
actually miss cooking so much. I can't wait to like chop all these vegetables that are going
Chop
in this
'em up.
soup.
Yeah.
Just cooking.
It's so therapeutic. Just
Yeah.
chop, chop, chop.
Alex?
Probably just a chicken and rice, Callum, to be fair.
Chicken and rice.
A bit of steak in there as well. Maybe treat myself. A bit of salmon as well.
Chicken
Ooh.
with steak. All
And
in
salmon.
one.
You should
And
try
salmon.
Emily Marico's salmon rice.
Really? Would you recommend?
Well, I haven't been able to make it because I've been here.
But are you looking forward to making that?
But I think I will make it because it's a very big trend on TikTok.
Okay.
And it looks very nice.
I'll have to give it a go.
Yeah.
Bang.
And I love salmon so much.
Right, so what? Have we got any other confessions going on?
We do.
Mm.
We
Oh,
have,
good.
We have a number more. This is more of a comment, but I think this is actually going to resonate with people. This one is, I hate it here. Right?
Just that is all they put.
That's their confession.
I'm so
that they
sorry.
hate it here. What advice are we giving to people that maybe a term in have realised they don't like their degree, they don't like their subject, maybe they don't like where they are, they don't like the city they've chosen or the place they've chosen? What advice are we giving? Because I feel like a lot of people feel this at some point.
Well,
but
I think I can resonate quite well with this. The first 2 weeks here, I was a mess, wasn't I, Callum?
yeah, there was a little bit of fear for Lauren, honestly.
That was fair.
Yeah.
I wanted to leave. I was so homesick. I was like, I need to get me home. Get me back
Get me
to
out
Cambridge,
there.
please, right this second. But then I kind of got through it. But during those 2 weeks, I was just like, do you know what? I'm going to plan things. I'm going to keep myself busy. I'm going to have things to look forward to. I've got my calendar. I'm writing down things I'm looking forward to. Yeah, I was very much like, I'm only here for 6 months of the year. Like, this 3-year course is actually a 1.5 years of time being here.
Right.
I'm not thinking like that anymore, thankfully.
Yeah. You're not.
But, yeah.
So sort of how did your mindset change then? What was the point?
I do think it was time. I think time really was my healer. I think it was just those first 2 weeks I kind of struggled a bit. Like, I remember when I went to Ghana.
It had to be said.
It had to be said.
Guys.
The first, like, 4 days, 4 or 5 days, I was so homesick. I literally wanted to leave as well. I think it was just homesickness for me. But yeah, I think as well, like, just talking to people, telling people how you feel. Like, I went to the welfare person address. I was
And it
literally...
helped a lot?
I can't say it did, unfortunately.
Unfortunately not.
we'll leave it at that. I would say talk to your friends. You know, I would come like crying to Callum. Callum would come in my room. I'd be crying. Talk to your parents, your family. And like at the end of the day, if you really, really hate it, you can leave. You're not like Callum said to me, you're not legally binded to finish this contract, this course. You can leave at any point.
Right. Exactly. And I got a really bit of sound advice the other day from a sort of senior person in the Air Force, because they came down to the Air Force place and had a little chat with her, and she was saying just like, life's too short. You've just got to do what you enjoy, because if you don't enjoy it, it's fucking obvious that you don't enjoy it, and everyone knows you don't enjoy it because like the way you're approaching stuff. So just go, what do I want to be doing? You know, where do I want to be? And if that's not congruent with what you're doing now, change it, because that's the reason you're feeling like that. Obviously initially there's that sort of, you're transitioning somewhere new, so you're going to feel homesick, but after that, if the feeling does consist despite doing these things, then maybe have a real sit down just with your mates initially, and if it then progresses with a sort of like uni people, and go, is this right for me? Because it may not be. You may have just been sort of pushed in by society to go, oh yeah, because you're smart you have to go to uni. And obviously that is wrong, because there are different paths for different people.
Exactly.
So I think just, you know, really having that reflection and that time to just think and go, is this for me? But try and find your people, try and find the little things you do enjoy, because out of the whole wealth of stuff that goes on at uni, there are going to be books you read on your course that you do enjoy. There are going to be people you meet who are your people. So just find them things and prioritise spending your time on them things.
I agree.
That's perfect, yeah.
I agree. And I think the thing is, like, you have to make a differentiation between, like, really being very, very unhappy and then maybe just going through a point in your course that you don't enjoy.
No, exactly.
Like, let's be honest, any law students out there will know contract law is rough. No one enjoys contract law. Does that mean that I want to throw my had it and just just run away? No, like I understand that there's parts of this course that I'm not going to enjoy, and you have got to push through those things. But I think a couple of things I found was striking the balance between talking to home enough and not speaking too much.
Yeah, there's definitely a point of too much.
I think if you're on the phone to your parents or anyone at home every day, multiple times a day, it's probably doing you less good than
I know,
less less good than you realise.
5 times a day every day during Freshers Week.
It was a lot. And for me, it's it was at one point it was every couple of days, and now it's just once a week or once.
Yeah,
every
it's quite sad really
days.
how it's gone. I spoke to my mum 5 times a day during Freshers, and now I speak to her every 2 or 3 days. I FaceTime my family. Yeah. Sometimes I'm I'll just have a quick 2-minute hi. But it's so weird, isn't it? You see these people every day usually, and then you come here and it's
you don't. Though anyone who is worried about that as well, this is really going off topic, but anyone who's worried about that as well, coming to uni and worried about family and not seeing them, I would say it is a lot easier than you think.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
In some respects it's definitely for me, I was I physically don't know how I'm going to be able to do it, and I did find it a lot easier than I realised. And terms are not long, they're 10 weeks probably tops. 11 maybe if you're extra or something like that. But yeah, I just think make the most of it. Remember, you're only here for half of the year. Your whole degree, you're in the place for Lauren says 1.5 years. That's absolutely nothing.
That's really that's less than sixth
really
form.
Nothing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And think about how quickly sixth form went. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, and if you're not enjoying things, then keep pushing through. I always think give it time, allow things to settle and adjust. And if you're honestly really, really unhappy, I'd say probably at Christmas time. Once you've given it a term, if you're still desperately unhappy, maybe think about whether you want to take things in a different direction, because there are other options. I think it's always nice as well to have a plan. So if you're going to leave uni, then maybe look at an apprenticeship, or look at a program you want to do, or volunteering, or just taking a year out completely.
Or just something,
Just something, yeah.
If you then, so this is the situation you don't want to be in, where you've been unhappy here for some unknown reason, which may have been nothing to do with the actual being here. And then you get home, you're sitting there, you're right, I've done it, I've been brave, I've taken this step, but now what? I now don't know what I'm doing. And then you're shit, I should have stayed at uni. By then it's too late, so it's what do I do?
Because the grass is always greener.
Exactly.
I think you really have to live in the present. You can't be you know, you're here. That's what I thought as well the first week. I'm literally here. I need to make the most of it. I cannot compare it to home because it's completely different places.
It's not the same.
You can't compare things. Like, you really just have to live in the moment. Like, be present in the place you're at. Be present in your mindset as well. Like, you just, you have to make the most of it and make the most of the little things that do make you happy here. But like we said, if you really, really hate it, you can just go.
You can. It's always the final line of defence.
Boy.
Exactly, but it has to like get to that point, doesn't it? Like, as we said, give it till Christmas. If not, then it depends how unhappy you are. There's like a scale, isn't it? But hard and fast rule: just prioritise yourself. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks you should or should not be doing.
Yeah.
Live for you and do what's best for you.
100%.
I agree. Well, we have still quite a few more. If we have time to continue pushing through.
We do indeed.
Okay. Again, I think this one is also going to resonate quite a lot with people because I think probably a lot of people feel this at some point. It says, I've made a group of friends at uni, but I've realised I don't like them. And they haven't done anything wrong. They're just bitchy and annoying. What should I do? Lols.
Well, I relate to this. I'm joking.
That's enough, Lauren. Yeah. What do you think?
Life's too short again to be around people that you don't like and that you find annoying. Just distance yourself. You can still be civil to them. You can still be friendly with them. But yeah.
And that's one thing I've learned, especially up here, and just generally really, it's just everyone wears masks, whether that's an actual face mask or like they have masks that they wear in themselves. They're putting up a sort of like a caricature of who they are or who they think they should be, and they're not their authentic self.
Yeah.
Especially in these sort of friendship groups where everyone's just trying to live for other people and be like, well, within this group I'm expected to act this way, so I'm going to act this way. But in reality, my actual way I am is very different to that. So just go, if you can't be friends with someone when you're being your authentic self, you shouldn't be friends with them.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Exactly.
So you need to really go, are these the people who I want to represent me? You know, because you're an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you're spending time with 5 people who are fake and don't really care about you because they're just trying to save face themselves, then it's time to go, basically.
Yeah. And like, people might then associate you as being like that as well. Like, friendship groups, people would just associate you with them. They think you're like that. You can distance yourself. Find people that make you happy. There's so many people here.
Right.
Like, so many.
Yeah, and like Lauren said, like, guilty by association. Like, I would say as someone who, I think like in the past I've definitely had people that like should have just probably invested less time into. And I would say that if you are saying your friends and you as a person in the group is saying they're bitchy and annoying, then that's probably reflective of what people think you are as well.
Yeah.
No,
and the last thing you want to do is to be guilty by association that you're also bitchy, and then you inhibit your ability to be able to make new friends at uni. And I think the best thing you can do is when you go to uni, cast your net wide. Don't join those stupid group chats because it's just like there's no point, because you start to like sort of like cocoon yourself away from like being open to people. So like and like, you know, cast your net very, very wide until you really understand who people are, because like Alex said, people will hold a pretense for a circumscribed amount of time before that starts to falter, and you need to be ready to like that person when that mask drops down.
100%.
So like, you know, if you've got a wide net, then you're going to find at least a few people that you like. So learn from this person's mistakes. And for this person, I would say the best thing to do is to join societies, you know, go and sit with other people in the lunch hall, you know, go out with different people, connect with people on, after nights out, you know, whatever, and just reopen your net to find new people, because I think that's very important.
Because they may have adopted the perspective that these are the only people. If I'm not part of this group, well, I'm going to be alone. And then all these sort of fears of being left out sort of seep in. But, you know, really, as Cal's just said there, open it up, talk to everyone, try and limit your sort of biases as much as possible, and go, nope, this is a person who I'm going to judge because of what they do and what they say, and not for anything else, not because of their siggy, you know. And then just be open and just have them conversations, because you might speak to them for 10 seconds and go, no, you're a bag of shit, I don't want to speak to you. Or you can speak to them and go, I really, really like you, let's be friends.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the conversation, you won't know. So yeah, it's got to be done.
But also it's exhausting, like, not being yourself. Like, it's really hard to just like put a facade on all the time. And you know, at the end of the day, if you keep doing that, you will become really exhausted and you'll become more and more unhappy. And yeah.
But I don't get how people do it. I don't have the energy to sort of pretend I'm someone who I'm not. Like,
I know, and like,
barely have enough energy just to get through the day.
I know. Well, okay. On this note, this is a big detour. Does anyone find like
I haven't napped.
Yeah.
You haven't napped since you've been here?
I actually just cannot nap. Like, physically at home, I couldn't do it. I could be exhausted. I just can't. I don't know why. I really wish I could.
Because I've spoken to a few friends and they're at different universities. Because at one point I genuinely thought, like, maybe Durham, like, putting something
Put something in
the water.
Don't want to be that person. Don't want to be like conspiracy theorist. But like maybe there is actually something that's like there's a certain ingredient they're using that's like, or like because the food's so like processed. Maybe that's making me tired.
I do think because we're not eating as well as we would at home.
No, 100%. 100%.
You know, if you're not getting a proper nutrition, you will be feeling more lethargic.
Right. And I've spoken to friends though that are at other universities and they're not getting catered slop. And
they're being
and they are also very tired. Like they're sleeping all the time, and it's not necessarily even indicative of going out the night prior. It's more of just like they're just always tired.
It is quite mentally tiring being here though. Like with the work, like you constantly have things to think about. It's not like you finish all your homework and then you're done for the evening. You can always be doing more. There's always more reading you can be doing. You know, there's always assignments you can be doing. And it's just kind of like always buzzing around my head. I don't know about everyone else, but it's always buzzing around my head, and I just almost can't like relax because I'm just constantly thinking about, okay, I could be doing this.
What's next? What's next?
Yeah.
Right. But
that's, you know, one thing where we've got to try and look at ourselves and go, should we be doing that? You know, because there may come a point where you go, okay, I acknowledge I have lots of stuff to do. However, I'm going to live in the present and schedule that so I know I will do it, but not worry about it now.
Yeah.
You know, because I think it's that overwhelming feeling that really throws people off. But I think if you just balance it out, I'm not the best at this, but if you sort of like schedule your time and go, right, this has to be done for then, therefore I've got this amount of time to do it, so I can spend this amount of time on it. And then you go, right, I've got other time that I'm going to use for other stuff that doesn't have to be used on this, because as Jordan said on the way here, basically you fill the time you have for the task you need to do. So if you have less time, you use less time. Yeah. So just plan your time out and, you know, really realise the time is precious, because we've had a term here and it's gone so fast.
Like in the blink of an eye.
A term is gone, and that's 1/3 of the year, which is 1/9 of the whole thing. Yeah. Already.
Terrifying.
That's literally gone. Bang. Yeah. And we're already here, and that can't come back.
No, I know.
That's it. So you have to.
That's the saddest part. You can't get your time back.
So like, really think about how you're spending your time, because you know, scrolling through TikTok, like, you are literally in a trance-like state where you can't change that. You just have to look at yourself and go, this is not okay, because it's just not, because you're not voluntarily going, yeah, I think it's pretty cool to spend 2 hours on TikTok in one sitting.
This is a personal attack.
This is personal.
No, but I'm guilty of it as well. I think loads of people do.
I think everyone is. Yeah.
It's the way it's set up. It's set up to be addictive.
Right.
So you've just got to go, okay, I'm going to spend 5 minutes on this. And they go, nope, the time's done, I'm done. Or if you know you're not going to be able to do that, don't touch it. Just don't touch it, because your mind, even when I'm doing work, you're like, your mind's going, right, check your phone. And you've got to be like, no, I'm not going to. Have you heard that? Like, is again a phrase that's on TikTok, funnily enough. It goes, if you don't break the cycle today, the habit will repeat tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
So like, with that, it's the same thing. If you don't go, no, I'm not going to go on my phone when I should be doing my work, then you'll just repeat that tomorrow.
It's like you can also dedicate a time of day to go on TikTok. Like,
no, definitely.
Before I go to bed, I go on TikTok and I watch all of Emily Marico's new cooking videos, just because they are very, very therapeutic to me. The chopping sounds, I just listen to before I go to bed, and then it sets me up for a good sleep.
Can't beat that.
They're just lovely. They're just lovely, to be honest. So yeah, and then I find that I actually do go on TikTok less, because I know I have, okay, I'll watch her videos tonight, so I don't have to watch them now.
Exactly, because you've scheduled the time. Therefore, you know, it's not like random. So what a lot of sort of high performance sort of like entrepreneurial people do, they block their time out. So they'll have, like, in the morning, they'll be like, right, we've got 1 hour to sort of have a shower, do your skincare, you have breakfast, and then hour after that is going to be focusing on reading, pre-reading for a seminar or something. Second one's going to be planning an essay, and then writing an essay. But because you've scheduled the time, and in between that you could be like going for a run or doing something fun you want to do, going on your phone. So because you've planned it, it works, and you're not like, oh, okay, free time now, let's go on my phone. But if you just go, no, right, at 12 o'clock you're going to go on it for 20 minutes, you're like, okay. So when it gets to 12 you can do that.
Yeah.
And it's not this sort of like scramble to open up time. So just really, 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 so many like people who are old, like now, I've seen like videos of this, they just regret not spending their time in the best way.
I know.
Another sort of like tangent here, but there's a guy called David Goggins who's like a really like, high performance sort of athlete, man, and he has this like phrase when he talks about like when he sort of dies that he's going to meet someone like, so he's like the Christian terminology, meet like St. Peter at the gate, and he's going to say like, this is what your life could have been, so, and this is what you are now. And he wanted to be like better than what was like planned out for his life. But everyone has this like potential to be this sort of great thing, you know. So you've just got to really think, who could I be if I just went all in, you know?
Right.
Yeah, it's like I heard this quote on TikTok, and it was like, you are living in the time that younger you was looking forward to.
Yes.
And it's like, this is so true. When I was younger, like I couldn't wait to come to uni, and it's almost like I want to do all the things that I wanted to do just to make my younger self like proud.
Yeah.
And it's really weird because obviously like I can't get that time back, but yeah, it's so true. Life is too short to not do everything you want to do.
No, exactly. Like the time is not, money comes back. It always will.
Oh, yeah.
It always will.
Can't take it to the grave with you.
No, exactly. Like the money, like it's always going to come back. You'll find a way to make money if you have to make money. That's the bottom line. But the time, no way. Why do companies, I've talked about this in a previous podcast, but why do companies pay for your time? Because it's so fucking valuable. So that's why you have to use it in the best way, you know? There's a really good sort of TikTok or something, Instagram as well. It's like, oh, if I realised that was my only chance to live in space as a talking monkey with the most advanced technology in the world, with fucking magic like aircraft and phones all the time, then I wouldn't have worried so much. I'd have just done good art or just loved people, you know? So just really, really, really think about how you're spending your time and prioritise the stuff that makes you happy. Whatever that is, it doesn't matter what that is. If that's playing with a Barbie, so be it. If that's playing rugby, so be it. No matter what it is, just do more of that thing.
I actually think that was a very good analogy. Like time you can't get back, but money you can.
Yeah, it always
so you
comes
just
back.
And to add here,
Please.
I mean, I've actually got a different confession highlighted as our next one, but I feel like it's quite a good pivot from this.
Okay.
Advice for applying to university was one of the advice points here. I mean, I can start.
Go, please.
I think get the personal statement done early. I actually applied to US universities as well, and the biggest thing I learned from that process was that your personal statement doesn't need to be as formulaic as your guidance counsellor or universities will have you think. I think the only reason I got into Durham was really because in my personal statement, I wrote it as if it was like a narration of my last 2 years.
Oh, really?
So I didn't do the whole like, from a young age, I've loved law, or do a really stupid statement about like jurisprudence or like something boring. I wrote it as giving context to me, because the thing is, the admission staff, and like, don't take this verbatim, but the admission staff have your statistics. They know your GCSE grades, A levels, IB, whatever. They have that information. So you're probably already, if you're applying, you're already ticking that box. So they know that you're good enough academically, but the thing you need to add to your application is your voice. So we don't need to necessarily quote loads of books to have a successful application, because they know you're academic enough to be reading those books anyway. Instead, I thought I wanted to add a voice to my application, which I did, and I got an offer. I got all my offers for my applications in the UK, and I credit that to maybe not going with the status quo with personal statements. So get it done early. Listen to your guidance counsellors, listen to their advice. But I would say the most important thing is to also go with your gut. So if there's something you really want to keep in and your guidance counsellor is saying no, then persist. Because I think you probably know yourself better than they do. But obviously listen to their advice. Their advice is important. And also, like, reach high. Like, I didn't think I'd get into Durham. Durham was my first choice. And I did. And I'm glad I applied, because if I hadn't and, realised later on down the line I could have, then I would have been really gutted. So
exactly.
reach high. If you want to apply to Oxbridge, then apply to Oxbridge. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Apply wherever you want, wherever makes you happy, and go for it. And don't let anyone tell you you're not good enough, because you probably are.
Exactly.
That's
and
really
you've got 5 options. Like you've
You
got
do.
5 choices of uni. You can have a few aspirationals. Like you only need one.
Right.
You only need to go to one. And yeah.
Exactly. I think just as well, just realise what makes you different and capitalise upon that. Don't. They've seen the same thing over and over and over again, as you said. Sort of when I was a young age, sort of shite like that.
Yeah.
Like they have seen that, you know, every single day. That's their job, so they've seen a shit ton of these things. So you just need to go, where am I? What's my unique selling point? You know, what am I bringing to the table that others aren't? And whether that's a club you've done that gives you a unique insight, you know, some other thing that you've done that you really think makes you stand out, some sort of charity work, maybe going to Ghana.
Ghana.
I wonder who went there.
Did you pop that into the personal statement?
Of course I did.
You did. Okay.
You know,
I
I
thought
linked
you
it
might
to
have.
business. I actually started my personal statement with I said I will be a successful woman in the business environment.
You
I
just
started
started
I started with statement. I started with that
Good.
because I would be quite taken aback by that myself. I was reading that, like, good for you,
I
girl.
would be.
And yeah, I spoke about Ghana. I spoke about my internship, you know, because they all linked back. I spoke to how in Ghana there was a big plastic pollution problem. Like they would literally just stack all their waste in this bit and then they would just burn it. They'd burn the plastic.
Wow.
And I spoke about that
Goodness, yeah.
because, yeah, it's quite
And I would
prevalent.
say, I would say a couple of other points just quickly while we're on this point.
Of course.
If you don't think UK universities for you, then look around. There's universities in Europe. You could go to Ireland, you could go to the US, you could go to Asia, wherever. You know, you could go to Australia if you want. There's always loads of options out there. Like I went for the US route as well. I tried both. It's definitely tough. Like the competition's high, especially if you're looking for funding. But go for it. And again, the key thing is not to listen to the noise. Don't go in the student room. Don't listen to when a guidance counsellor or teacher's telling you you're not good enough, because as I said before, you almost always are. And even if you're not statistically, you're good enough as a person, but that's a whole different conversation. Away from university applications. But try your best, go for it, reach high, do your research, realise if university's not for you, there are other options as well, as we said before. Be organised, be prepared, be ready for rejection, and rejection to redirection. So just remember that.
Redirection. Exactly. Yes, that's really pretty sound. I think just one point to sort of round up with is understand if it is right for you before you even do it. Don't think, because the whole system is, especially at sort of good schools, they push you straight into uni because their agenda is to make you go to a good uni, so it looks good on them. But I remember we had this assembly at my school. It was 99% of the assembly was, this is stuff about uni. And there was one slide, other things exist.
Yeah,
like
that was the exact same at my school.
Right, okay. And that moves on really quickly. And but what's that about? And they're like, nah, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
And it's why is there not an open conversation about the different routes you can go down? And, you know, I remember I was quite big on sort of property last year. I was quite into sort of property investment, and I was looking into that as a sort of path I could have gone down other than uni. And I remember talking to teachers about that at my school, and they were going, well, they couldn't comprehend that. That was beyond the scope of the conversation that was happening. And that first probably maybe influenced where I went in the end, because I could quite have easily gone a different way, but that perspective was not appreciated or understood, and it was really weird. And I was what the sort of language used was when you go to university. There's no if, but maybe it was when.
It's because they want to fill their quotas.
That's all it is. It's the agenda they have, you know.
Exactly.
But yeah, what's the next one then? What have we got next?
Well, the next one is how much more time have we got? Because this one's quite a long one, and we have got one more. Okay, because we've got a longer one, and that one might take a little bit of time, so we might have to. This is actually quite an awful tone to finish on. We've had a really nice conversation about about.
That's awful.
We might even have to choose another one. We might even have to choose another one.
Just do it. Let's do it.
You know what? We're actually going to choose a different one, just because if Paula is listening, she might not want to hear about.
I hope she doesn't. Well, she probably won't want to listen to the next one either.
Someone put, Shagging, then being serenaded by the sound of a bugle, realising it was Remembrance Day and feeling very guilty.
What a walk of shame.
What a walk of shame. How do you feel
Remembrance Day
how do you
edition.
feel about those kind of acts on those days?
I was at literally a remembrance service that day. Imagine me walking through the town. I'm like, coming back from an aisle.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That is rough.
I think that's a great story to tell the grandkids.
It is. It is.
Around the Christmas dinner table. Like,
the bugle's going. The bugle's going.
Like, as long as you didn't, as long as you weren't, like, being offensive, I don't think it's really an issue.
And I hope that was a silence at 11 a.m.
Of course.
A 1 minute silence. Just a stop. A stop and pause for a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
I think there's no point feeling guilty.
No.
Like,
if you didn't know, you didn't know, sort of thing. You didn't intentionally do it. So.
Right.
As long as, like, the soldiers, the veterans aren't, like, walking down the road and you're just, like...
Right, if the windows are open,
yeah.
the veterans are walking down the road, it's
They're
just, like, maybe a little bit too far. But if you're in a private place, then it is your will as to what you want to do on those days.
It's completely fine if you forgot.
So
it's like any day, but just, if you were consciously aware, then that's not really on. But if you weren't, then, you didn't know, it is what it is, basically.
And as long as you bought a poppy, then we move.
Exactly.
As long as you're wearing a poppy.
Imagine that. Just.
Oh, goodness.
Well, that is a
That's
very
a
low.
lovely-
That's a low tone to end on. We went from philosophy and university to having sex on Remembrance Day, but there we go. The kids will ask the advice they need for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give the people what they want.
Give the people what they want.
We're giving advice to our little
Nice
chickens.
We
I've
are.
got like one other question for you two as well that I always ask my guests.
Yeah.
What if you could have a billboard or some sort of ad that everyone in the world could see? What would it say on it and why? It's a big question. I know.
Everything happens for a reason. I am such a big believer of everything happens for a reason.
Okay.
Sound.
Like, you can be, like, thinking between two things and... Oh, what's the saying? Callum, you can start talking and I'll come back.
Okay.
I'll try to think about it.
I'm going to say, well, I've already said this actually a couple of times in this podcast, but don't let anyone tell you're not good enough, because you probably are. Because I would say over the last couple of years, there's been a number of times where I've been told that I'm not going to be able to do something, or I'm not going to get something, or I'm not going to be able to, whatever. And if you listen to those voices, then you are waving goodbye to your potential and your opportunities in life. So, harness, the power of free will. You can do what you want. Go for it. Run with it. Hope for the best. If things don't work out, there's always a reason for that. Always, always, always. And so, like, enjoy it, and you just take the lesson from everything. Acceptance, rejection, whatever. And be excited, because, like, there's a lot to be excited about in life, and there's a lot of opportunities you can
Everything, do it. You know? So one thing I'd sort of round this episode off with here, from what we've kind of said, is life is too short. You're not going to be young forever. This is a very finite period of time.
We're in the prime of our lives.
Exactly. So live like you're in the prime of your life.
Exactly.
Don't live half-assed and go, I could have done more. I could have, had a bit more fun. Because realistically, at the end of the day, when you're sort of in a wheelchair in a hospital, in some sort of like care home, you're not going to look back and go, oh, really enjoyed spending 2 more hours in that library. You're not.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, I really enjoyed making them memories with them people.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed building these strong connections with people who I still talk to today. Because they're the things that really matter.
Yeah.
So prioritise them. And, so what if you got a lower grade than someone else? That's just ego. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like, really be yourself and connect with people, because when you open up, that gives others the permission to do the same.
If it's not going to matter in 10 years' time, don't give it more than 10 minutes thought, honestly.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
100%.
Maybe even 10 seconds thought.
Completely agree.
And I'm really grateful you two have come on, because it's been a really wonderful episode. And I feel
thank
the
you so
advice we've
much.
given has been very tangible.
You've given the kids what they wanted.
We have.
We really have.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mummy and Daddy Callum.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a part 2. I'm feeling a cheeky part 2 soon.
Part 2.
Oh, 100%.
There's a lot more. A lot more advice.
I can do a whole episode on Ghana.
Maybe
So
we
we've got that to look forward to in the new year as well. Anyway, thank you so much, Cal. Thank you so much, Lauren.
Thank you
No
so much for
worries. Thank you for
having
having us.
This has been the Lawless podcast, and we'll see you in the next one.